Good afternoon. This is the Chorus Call conference operator. Welcome, and thank you for joining the DADA financial results as of 31st March 2017 conference call. After the presentation, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. At this time, I would like to turn the conference over to Ms. Chiara Locati, IR Manager of DADA. Please go ahead, madam.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today to review DADA's first quarter 2017 financial results. With me on the call today is Lorenzo Lepri, General Manager and CFO of DADA Group. After prepared remarks, we will open up the call to a Q&A section. I would like to remember you that in the Investor Relations section of our website, we have provided a slide presentation. With that, I would like to turn the call over to Lorenzo.
Thank you, Chiara. Thank you for all of you to be part of this conference call to present the Q1 2017 financials, which have just been approved by the Board of Directors. I would suggest to follow the presentation that is currently available online, and namely to indicate our first slide to be commented, which is number 6, slide which describes the main achievement of the quarter. As you can see, we've been delivering sound and solid financial results. We've been growing on a year-on-year basis significantly, considering the challenging markets that I guess you're quite aware of. So revenue have increased 7% year-on-year to 18 million. By the way, this is the highest quarterly revenue in the last 3 years, as we're going to see. EBITDA has been growing as well, 7%, and we reached 3.2 million in the quarter, which is one of the highest level in the last 3 or 4 years, consolidating an EBITDA margin of 18%. And an EBIT that raised to 1.7 million and a net result up to 0.7 million compared to the 0.1 million in the first quarter of 2016, which overall, I mean, every single financial metric has improved compared to last year, and I guess we can be very happy about that. From a business perspective, we've been growing both with regards to the customer base, which reached a record level of 650,000 customers. You know, most of our customers are small and medium enterprises. Overall, new customers have increased 9%, so we're talking about the new customers that have been acquired in the first quarter of 2017, as well as the overall stock of products under management. And you know that the domain name is the key product of our portfolio, have reached 1.9 million with a 4% increase, and we do have consolidated or increased our market share in our main European geographies. Financial results, which have also improved on a net debt and financial position level, which has decreased to 26.5 million at the end of March 2017. That compares to 29.5 million at the end of the 31st December of 2016. So we've been benefiting from an increase of 7% in operating cash flow, which was now close to 5 million. And we're going to see later how this increase has provided additional leverage for our business. As you see from slide number 7, all our metrics, as I said, have improved despite the foreign exchange headwinds. As you know, we have close to 30% of our turnover which is generated in pounds. After the impact of the Brexit, we've been impacted with regards to the exchange rate euro-pound, and therefore excluding the in constant currency, the overall growth would have been 10.6% compared to the 7%. So overall, every single financial metric has improved consistently in the quarter, and as of today, we see this trend, at least for April, to be confirmed. So we're quite happy about that. We have disseminated a press release this early afternoon, late morning, describing most of our initiatives on a business on the business side. So slide number 8. As we already anticipated, our priority is to focus on being selective on commercial initiatives, on optimizing the cost of acquisition of our customers, and to nurture and develop even further our customer base. With regards to our offer portfolio, the priority is still to leverage as much as possible on value-added services to the small and medium businesses, which include tailor-made solutions for their online presence and online business, and we are getting quite a good traction on these products. And as we anticipated in the fourth quarter of 2016, the server and cloud business line is now one of our top priority, and we see the numbers on that segment to step up very significantly. So we are also quite happy about that, and we should be able to report more overall, more clear and defined set of metrics starting from the second part of this year, to give you more visibility of the increase in this business line. Slide 9 and 10 somehow confirm what our brands are doing in their respective markets. You know, Italy is a market where we enjoy the number 2 position. Our main brand is Register.it, and as well as Etinet and Sera, which have been acquired in the last couple of years. And by the way, these two companies are performing well, somehow better than we expected. So we believe that they will be more and more contributing to our respective tailor-made on-site website building and server and cloud businesses respectively. We're now number 3 in the UK, also after the acquisition by GoDaddy of Host Europe, and our brand is Namesco. And our market share has increased also in the UK, and UK and Italy, as you may recall, do represent close to 75% of our turnover. Adding to that, of course, Ireland, Portugal are very strong markets in which we do enjoy a leading position, although of course the markets are now smaller than the UK and in Italy, and we still have a good positioning in Spain and France, and in both cases we have consolidated our market share. The following slide, number 10, shows, as we said, how we have increased the stock of customers, which, as I say, reached a record high of 650,000 customers, and I would say 95% of those customers are small and medium enterprises. all over Europe, and the new acquired, so the new customers have increased quite solidly. On the stock, we will describe later in the presentation how we've decided to gather a more selective approach and therefore to focus on the higher marginality product. So we've somehow reduced some initial pricing offering in order to have a more shorter return on investment on our campaign, and that is delivering quite well. On slide 11, you can see how today Q1 2017 now is a fully blended contributed synergies from our data center in the UK, and it has allowed us to leverage on cost synergies, on product synergies, and now it is strongly backing also the server and cloud business with the Simply blend. Top priority, as I said before, is to be as close as possible to the customer. And this is why we decided last year, and we discussed that some time ago, that top priority is to insource as much as possible the customer support and be as close as possible to the end customer, to use the customer support activity also as a revenue generator, as an acquisition channel, and we are seeing good results on this as well. And we believe that one of the ways to face very strong and aggressive competition by the main international players is to have like a local presence that is perceived as value generator and problem solver to the end user. So that of course comes with a cost, because of course it's definitely more expensive to have, not to insource some customer support activity. But on a longer term, we believe that it can make a difference on lowering churn and being able to upsell further. On slide 13 and 14, we are now in the section regarding the KPIs and the financials. Slide 13 and 14 show, as we said, how the customer base has evolved, how the new customers acquired have evolved in the last 3 years. So we are starting now to see very good traction on our marketing effort that started a year ago, both with regards to the new customers, to the customer stock, customer base, and with regards to the overall stock of products. As I said, we've realized that there was a selection to be made with regards to focusing on more profitable product and more selective marketing campaigns. So at the beginning we are more, let's say, aggressive and less distinctive in deciding what to push, because we need to have a sufficient time frame to make our own internal assessment and decide how the reaction from the market was coming. Now we have sufficient visibility and evidence to then leverage upon our more selective marketing campaigns and to push higher value-added services, which we are doing. Slide 15 shows the revenue, the top line evolution. We haven't seen any material change in the revenue mix so far. From a geographic standpoint, as I said, we either increased or consolidated the market share in most of our geographies. So, but definitely, the relative contributions from the single markets have been confirmed from one quarter to the other, and the international activities still represent the majority of our overall turnover, and it accounts 52%. And this is despite the contribution to the domestic revenues of Sfera, which was acquired last year, and the depreciation of the pound. So we are an international company. We are a small multinational facing international markets and challenges, and still in a quite challenging scenario, we've delivered growth, the consistent growth also in this quarter. The revenue bridge in slide 16 shows the various contributors to our growth. As you can see, the good news here is that both our business lines in the UK and in Europe have generated top line organic growth. On top of that, we have a positive contribution from Sfera, and despite the negative impacts on our forex exchange, as I said, we've increased our revenue to 18 million, which is plus 7% compared to the 16.8 million last year. Increasing marginality, increasing top line, which has come with an increase in marginality. The EBITDA has improved. Despite being selective, we are still pushing strongly in cost of acquisition, in organizational structure. We've had an increase in labor cost, which we'll comment later on, but that was absolutely anticipated. You might recall that we discussed this during our last conference call. The idea is, as I already said, to focus as much as possible on the service component, and we believe that we've now reached a plateau whereby we do not expect to have any kind of significant increase in this overall headcount, unless for any impact of the turnover in and out, but no material change in our structure perimeter is foreseen for the next quarters. And of course, the increase in labor costs also derive from the fact that we've consolidated Sfera, which was not represented in the numbers in Q1 2016. So EBITDA bridge, very similarly to what we discussed on the revenue. Product margin has been the biggest contributor to our increase in margin, so it's plus 5%. The overall marginality is still, 18%, which is not dissimilar to the 18% that we've recorded last year. Probably we can do better than this, so this is one point of attention. We need more volumes, so new volumes additional volumes should bring us sufficient operational leverage to bring additional marginality. So we are looking forward to have a more ambitious plan on EBITDA margin for the future. Slide 19 shows the overall impact of the P&L on depreciation, amortization, and financials. Nothing material here compared to last year, unless for a lower impact on the forex, which accounted more significantly last year. And in this case, we believe that we could be benefiting in the future from lower financial costs deriving from, thanks to the renegotiation of our overall net debt that occurred at the end of last year. So the decrease in net debt and the overall lower spreads applied to this debt should allow the overall interest costs to decrease in the middle term. CapEx, slide 21, has been very similar to last year. You should, I guess you remember that we still do capitalize part of our labor cost in order to fund the development of our internal products and platforms. We've decided still to decrease 5 or 6% this investment, because of course we are getting there to a situation where the overall platforms now are fully deployed and capable of providing to the end user, to our customers, a good level of deliverability of service and quality. So we expect this CapEx component of CapEx to smoothly decrease in the future. Hardware and software and dedicated server are slightly higher with regards to dedicated servers compared to last year, also thanks to the growth in the Simply business, the servers and cloud business, and that is directly related to that increase, considering that we do buy the hardware, in this case on behalf of the customers. So the higher the products are, the higher the number of products are sold, the highest is the level of CapEx related to that investment. Cash flow, the good news here is that the increase in marginality has been reflected in the increase in the operational cash flow. And as you see in Q1 2017, the operating cash flow has improved to 5% compared to the 4.6%, so it's a 7% increase, which is not very similar to the increase in EBITDA that we just commented. The composition of our net financial position reflects, and that of course compares to the data at the end of March 2016. So we have a higher, that's at the end of 2016, if you had to compare it with the same aggregate at the end of the first quarter 2016, we had at that time a much higher component of the short-term debt compared to the medium level thanks to the negotiation that was finalized with the banks, with the syndicate banks at the end of December. So we now have sufficient leverage and available credit lines in addition to the cash in hand to fund our organic growth and maybe have some opportunity to catch some smaller external growth opportunities if and when the opportunity arises. The DADA stock price, of course, has been in part partially now affected by the process that CMTI started in March regarding the potential sale of its equity interest in DADA. As it has occurred in 2016, I would say that the DADA stock has increased one of the best performer share in the star segment and in the stock, with regards to stock price, good volumes, but of course we are looking forward to see how the process evolves, and that's slide number 25, today's board, and that's part of the press release that was issued. Today's board has been adjourned with regards to the activities carried out in support of the process started by Libero Acquisition. So we are cooperating with our controlling shareholder and its advisors, and we've been granted, of course, the powers to pursue further this support in the most appropriate manner, having regard to the interest of the company and all of its shareholders also in the future. And so we don't have any specific news as a company on this, unless for the fact that we made ourselves available to keep on supporting our shareholder on this process, considering that it is in the interest of all parties. I will just finish on slide number 27, which summarizes some strategic guidelines for the year. The four pillars that we are focusing on are, on one side, to consolidate our position in our core geographies and to leverage as much as possible with the highest value creator products and on cloud hosting. So we want to be as close as possible to the customer with a blend of services and products, which with a higher marginality component as well, of course. Second, to increase and nurture as much as possible our customer base to add volumes and clients, and with our business model and our revenue model has a very strong component deriving from recurring revenues and renewals, and therefore the retention rates are key element to work on in order to maximize marginality, and of course upselling is key to that profitability. Organic growth today is a priority. Nevertheless, as I just mentioned, we should have now some additional resources to allocate to selected smaller acquisition in case we needed to increase market share or acquire, let's say, technological capabilities or products which we currently do not have internally. Our guideline, the guidance that we've anticipated to the market at the end of 2016 has been fully confirmed. So we are in Q1 2017 in line with our guidance, which projected a top line growth in revenue growth of in the mid-single digits, and we delivered 7%. And based on the current information, we are confirming this guidance also for the full year, and we do expect a similar increase in operating margin for the full year as well. So, based on the information we're having so far, we don't see any major discontinuity for the forthcoming period. We are ready to answer to any question you may have. I don't know, Chiara, if you want to.
Okay, so we are ready for the Q&A session.
Excuse me, this is the Chorus Call conference operator. We will now begin the question and answer session. The first question is from Gabriele Berti of Banca IMI. Please go ahead.
Hi Lorenzo, hi Chiara, thank you for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. Can you provide more or less the weighting in terms of revenue of server and cloud solution? If you can, also the average profitability for this kind of solution. And lastly, which is your revenue target in the midterm for this business line? Thank you.
Okay, so Gabriele, thank you for your question. As I said before, we haven't disclosed yet a specific metric or KPIs regarding the business line. What we can tell you is that we are planning to create, let's say, we are creating a specific organization, so we still don't know whether it's going to have also corporate entity. But that is growing double digit today, although we're still talking about overall volumes which are not, let's say, as significant, of course, as compared to our core business. So it's between the 1 million and 10 million, so sorry, but I really cannot give much more disclosure on this yet. What I can say is that this is typically a business now, hosting or cloud, that is that enjoys a very high marginality. So excluding the dedicated server, this is a business which leverages upon the data center capability, which is a capability for which we've already allocated the resources, which we have fully invested. So the marginal cost, the gross margin attached to that business line is extremely good. Of course, it requires a whole set of let's say interaction, so it's not a pure sales provisioning mode standard business line, so it requires some accounting activity on one side. It requires to be slightly more selective on the customers that you acquire. But we hope we'll be able to give even more specific details on the contribution of this business line in the forthcoming future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Lepri, there are no more questions registered at this time.
Okay, thank you very much, and hope to hear you at the next presentation conference call. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, thank you.